it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get the push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, the questions you need to ask if you want to win big. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, listen to feedback.
My favorite question to ask somebody who I respect and I want to learn from is, please tell me why I suck. It might seem a little crazy. It might seem a little out there, but here's why I do it. Feedback is so important for you to grow your business. You don't know anywhere close to everything you need to know to get to where you want to be. And you're going to get a lot of negative feedback. You get a lot of criticism. You get a lot of people who might be in your family or friend circle or people you went to school with who tell you their advice, right? Lots of people will give you unsolicited advice. That's not necessarily that helpful, right? Telling me that I suck is not the actual answer for people around you. But when it's somebody that you respect, who actually has information to give you, what happens is people are afraid of hurting your feelings. So if there's somebody who you look up to, who might be able to give you the information, they would be afraid, just because it's normal human nature. Most people will not be direct, honest, blunt, tell you the hard facts and the truth, the whole truth, because they're afraid of hurting your feelings, right? But when you lead with, tell me why I suck, here's what happens. They might have 3 ideas for you. If you just ask for feedback, they're going to share their one idea. That's the safest. That's the simplest. That's the easiest. That's the least likely to hurt your feelings. If you lead with, tell me why I suck, tell me why it's like the worst thing you've ever seen, what they're going to do is say, well, it doesn't suck, right? Like, hey, you should be proud of yourself and what you made. But here's the 3 things I would do to fix it. You get a lot more truth. You get a lot more honesty because you led with, tell me why I suck. I remember doing a keynote at a YouTube event, and I shared this strategy, and that was the main theme for the ending. And they filmed it, and the MC came up and said, "What did you learn from Evan today?" And they all said, "We suck," which as a standalone doesn't really fit the belief vibe of what I'm usually going for. But it was funny, and they got the message across, because when I'm at an event like that with YouTube, there are a handful of people that I would listen to for advice, right? As you get higher and higher and better at something, you don't listen to everybody's opinion anymore. Now, if it's something like who I should profile next or some themes or content, definitely open. For its specific strategies on YouTube, you're going to start looking at people who have actually done it, right? As you get better at something, there's fewer people who can teach you. So there's a handful of people who I like to collaborate with and seek their feedback and counsel. And that's what I'll always say. Every time I'm at one of those events, I'll find those people, like 5 people I can count on my hand. I would go, hey man, tell me why I suck. Like, do you mind spending 8 minutes looking at my channel again and just tell me why it sucks and it's like the worst thing you've ever seen? And I'll say it exactly like that. And again, the response is always, well, dude, like, come on, you don't suck. You have 3 million subscribers. It's great. But you know what? Here's what I would do. 1, 2, 3. You're giving permission to people to be honest. You recognize that it's out of love. Some people will give you a lot of negative comments, not out of love, right? They'll tell you that you suck and all the things that are wrong, and who are you to do something like this, and what makes you think that you're good enough to do this? You don't have the education and family and connections and resources and money and smarts, and you're too ugly too, right? All of these things that people will throw at us, but they haven't done the thing that we're trying to do, right? If somebody hasn't done the thing that you want to do, their advice is not very meaningful. If anything, you should probably do the opposite, because they don't know what they're talking about. And yet we listen to these people, right? We often listen to the people who are closest to us because they're in our proximity. But if they haven't done the thing, you know, just because you went to high school with them doesn't mean that their opinion means something on the thing that you're trying to do. Chances are they took their shot at one point and they didn't hit it, and now other people around them can't have success either. That's what happens a lot of the times. So their advice is meaningless. But when you find the person and you seek out people who have done the thing that you want to do, you have to give them permission to be 100% honest with you. Now you might be asking, well, I don't know anybody. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody who's done the thing at a high level. I can't pick them up and send them a text message or call them on the phone. Great. This is where intentional learning really makes a difference. I can't tell you the number of events that I've done, whether it's virtual or in person, where there's always Q&A at some point. So if you're going to an event where you're signing up for a Zoom call and the person who you want to learn from is on that call, what most people do is they become passive listeners. You're passively taking out your notepad and you're taking notes. You got your phone and you're like taking notes on it and like, oh, that's a good insight. That's a good insight. But it's passive because you are not going in to the event with an outcome. Your goal should be, if you want to make learning active, if you want to actually get the most from the experience and be able to make the contacts and get your questions answered, you have to know what the question is going to be that you're going to ask, right? So here's what you should do. First off, whoever your heroes, mentors, guides are, you want to follow them on all the platforms where they can go live. Just before this, I was live on Instagram and we had a whole bunch of people asking questions. If you want to talk to me, follow me on Instagram. Join my Discord, evancarmichael.biz. Get in there. We're having great conversations. But the people who are your heroes, follow them on the platforms where they might go live. Look at where they might be speaking at an upcoming event. And then when you go and attend that event, have a plan for your learning so that it's not just passively going through the exercise and activities that they gave you. That's all a bonus. If you're going to go to some conference and there's an activity sheet or workbook to go through, great. That's all a bonus. You need to know going in, what do I want to learn? If I got a chance to ask this person one question, what would that question be? What's the outcome that I want from this? Most people don't do that. And you get caught up in the hype and the energy and the motivation of, wow, it's so amazing, woo! But then you still didn't get the answer that you could have had if you're just more intentional. So you show up, and then when they do the questions, like, okay, we're going to Q&A. Boom, you're the first one there. You're the first one there. You might be nervous. Your heart might be pounding out of your chest like crazy, but you're the first one there. You're standing by the microphone. You're ready to go. You got your hand up before they even go to Q&A and the Zoom chat, right? Like you are ready to go with your question, the one that you want an answer to. And then you're going to ask the person, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I'm working on. Tell me why I suck. And then you get the feedback. If you apply that strategy and go after the top 5 to 10 people in your industry, in your niche, who are doing a thing, you can get access to them. And if you intentionally show up with that one question that you want an answer to, and then you end it with, tell me why I suck, you'll get their brutal, honest feedback and get the advice you actually need to grow. When I'm looking at somebody's YouTube channel, for example, I have a lot of thoughts, and when I'm dealing with a high achiever, there is a totally different vibe when you're working with me and you're just getting started and you're at the beginning of your journey and you're not an achiever yet. It's a lot softer and a lot nicer. It's a lot more rah, you can do it. It's a lot more injecting belief and energy, like, hey, just get started, make your first video. It's okay if it sucks. Like, go, create momentum and energy. If you are a high achiever, and I know that I can push you a little bit further, it's a lot more blunt, it's a lot more bold, and it's a lot more to the point. It'll be a lot more, I pull up their channel, oh my gosh, okay, this sucks here. This you have to change right now. Like this banner is terrible. You got to move this. Your avatar is way too far out. These thumbnails need a total redesign, and just breaking them, boom, 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 boom. Like, okay, good. Give it to me. You can tell that they're not taking it personally. This is the problem. If you're not a high achiever, then you take it personally because you're so worried about what you're creating that any negative feedback you take personally, and then the people giving the feedback are too afraid to give you more feedback. That's why they'll give you 1 out of the 3. But if I don't know you, and even if you are at the start, if you led with, tell me why I suck, I would still tell you my honest opinions and give you the feedback that you need. Makes all the difference in the world. So, step one is to go seek out the people. Maybe you know them already, or maybe you don't, but you're going to seek them out. You're going to join their events. You're going to get on their Zoom calls. You're going to follow them on Instagram or wherever they go live. You're going to follow them and make it your plan in the next 3 months to ask one of your 5 to 10 heroes this question, right? Whatever question you care about most. 2, you're going into the learning, into that event with the intention of, I am going to ask this person this question. You know it. And as soon as they go over to Q&A, or as soon as you see somebody in the hallway, you don't care about anything else that's happening at this event. The only thing that matters is that you get your question asked to this person, laser focused, so that you don't regret it later on, like, I wasn't the, and then the lineup gets too long and you don't get your question answered, right? It's the only goal. Anything else is a bonus. And then 3, as you're asking the question, you pose it and say, tell me your honest feedback. I need it. Tell me why I suck. Do that. You get the honest truth that you need to actually help you accomplish your goals.
Rule number 2, alter your environment.
Your environment has been perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are. The people you hang with, the videos you watch, the media you consume, all of it are perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are right now today. If you want to raise your standards, it starts by raising your environment first. So a friend of mine and friend of the channel, Mark Drager from Fanta, gave me a really warm message yesterday, and he thanked me for helping start the process for him to turn from being a pessimist to an optimist, from being somebody who was always worried and negative to somebody who's having more energy, who's seeing the light, who's becoming more optimistic, who still has a road to go, but is so far further along than where he was before. And he wrote to me to say, thank you for starting me down this path. He said there was one conversation in particular that had special meaning to him, where I told him that I just really believed in him, that I saw a lot of the people around him, I saw a lot of his peers, and I just thought that he had so much more potential than where he was. And I think maybe for the first time he had an extra bolt of belief pushed into him, which is what I do, which is what I'm great at, which is what I enjoy doing. But fast forward to now, 6 months, 8 months later, he's made major gains in his life. He's brought on new team members. He's now consuming other content that is positive and optimistic. He's changing his business around. He's investing more in himself. He's happier. He's lost a lot of weight. He's growing. He's wanting to strengthen his relationships. He's just seen a big shift in his life by trying to move more into optimism instead of pessimism. And so it started with my conversation with him. He then promoted somebody within his organization to become COO, whose name is Louis, and he's also a massive force for good and positivity. He started consuming Gary's content, which is positivity. He started consuming Tom Bilyeu's content, which is positivity. He started now injecting all these people and resources into his life to make him feel more positive, more optimistic, more happy, give him more energy so that he has that to go take on his goals and the challenges out in front of him, and slowly move that needle from being a pessimist to an optimist. I don't think people are pessimists, to be honest. I think everybody is born an optimist. I don't think people are born negative. I think that's trained into you. I think you're a pessimist and negative because of the circumstances you had and what was planted in your brain by the people around you. I think people are good. I think humans are just good. I think if we weren't good, we wouldn't be here anymore. 99.99999% of people are good, right? Some people have a little bit of a miswiring up there and it causes them to enjoy killing people, but for the most part, we're good. I also believe that people are built to serve. I believe that you get happiness from helping others, by being of service to others. That's what actually makes you happy. There aren't very many happy moments in your life that didn't involve somebody else. You were helping, you were serving. They've shown the effect on your brain of serving and helping somebody is the same as food and sex. We're literally hardwired to help others and to serve. And so if you believe, like I believe, that humans are good and humans are built to serve, then what would cause somebody to be pessimistic and negative? How sad of an upbringing does that person have to have had? The programming that was installed inside them by other people who just were negative and down on their life, but weren't inherently bad people. The people who stole from my car in LA, the guy who cut me off in traffic yesterday, I don't think they're bad people. I still think they're good people who are built to serve. Just circumstances and conditioning have led them down a negative path. And so the good news is you can get out of it, just like my friend Mark has, who's someone who was sworn to say, I'm a pessimist, right? I just default to negativity, to now seeing the shift by changing the people he's surrounding himself with, by altering his environment, by consuming content that is more positive. He's already seen a noticeable shift over the past X number of months, and that's going to continue to grow. That could be you too. There's a 3-step process you to follow, and I'm going to give it to you right now. Step number 1 is collect good people. You need to be in the good people collecting business. I had that conversation with Mark that had a lasting impact on him because I love Mark, because in him I see just such a good person, just so much potential. And I mean, I see that in everybody, a lot of potential, but I want to collect good people. I want good people around me. I want to have people around me in my life who are in my business or just associates or just people that I know that are good people, that give me energy, that lift me up, that I'm excited to be around. Right? There are some people that when you're around, you just have more energy and vibrancy. Collect them, find ways to work with them, find ways to stay attached to them. I even make it awkward. There's a lot of people who I'll meet if I meet somebody at a conference or at an event or something that's happening in my city or in another city. If I just really like their energy, I say, I really like you. I really like you. I want to find a way to do more with you. That's awkward. That's hard to say. That's weird. That's strange. But chances are they're feeling the same thing about you, that they don't have as many great people as they wish they had in their life as well. And so think about the people who give you energy, that are just good people, that you wish you could spend more time with them, and tell them that, as awkward as that seems, and then find ways to stay around them more, because you want to have those positive people in your life. Step number 2 is 254s. I've created a program called 254s. There's a link in this video, it's in the description below, where every day for 254 days, I send you a video around a certain topic. In this case, it's around building unstoppable confidence. If you watch a video for 254 days, you will become more confident. It'll happen. Science tells us that it takes between 18 and 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. If you're on a diet for 1 week, it's likely not to stick. It takes at least 18 days. The average is 66 days, so most people don't spend enough time doing the thing before they quit and give up. But the worst case scenario, the slowest human learner of all time, takes up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. And so I made the 254 program for you guys, that if you want to have more confidence, or we have a series for women entrepreneurs, or a series for Black excellence, and a series for writers, right? If you're a writer, every day for 254 days, you're going to get a free video emailed to you of a writer who's had success. Now, if you're a stay-at-home writer, you're trying to get your first book off the ground, you may not have a lot of people around you supporting you, believing in you, telling you to go for it. But then here's this email every day with a new video from somebody who's made it, giving you an inspirational message that's 30 seconds to 5 minutes long. Right? My goal ultimately is to have 1,000 of these. I want to have 1,000 254s, because you may not care about the Writer's Wisdom program if you're not a writer. You may care about the confidence one. If you want, go to the description and find the link to get on. But if not, then make your own. Make your own. Even this channel spreads belief every day. If you want to have more belief in your life, watch these videos. That's the intent. It spreads belief. If you feel a little bit more belief in yourself, that you are a genius, that you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, if this video helps spark that, then watch more. And if it's not me, then it's somebody else. Go watch Gary's content, go watch Tony's content, go watch Mel's content, whoever it is. Create your own 254 program, where every day for 254 days at least, ultimately becomes a lifetime thing, you're surrounding yourself with resources that feeds the positivity in your mind, that hope, that things are possible, that you don't need to stay where you are right now, that you can end up in a better place if you put in the work. But if you don't believe that it's possible, you won't chase it down. So you need to create your own 254 program. And then number 3 is have play bigger triggers. Play bigger triggers are things in your environment that remind you to step up. It could be a shirt that you wear, right? And that shirt that you put on reminds you to play a bigger game. It could be your physical environment putting up posters or banners in your office, wherever you're working, or in your car as a reminder that you need to step up. It could be your screen time, right? What's on your cell phone background, what's on your desktop background, that when you look at every day reminds you. It's triggers in your environment to step up and play a bigger game. Your environment is keeping you where you are, so you need to change your environment. It doesn't mean that you can afford necessarily to move out and go buy some penthouse in New York City that looks over Central Park, right? That may not happen, but you can have a poster of it as a reminder that you're building a better future, that this is not where you're gonna be. This place that you're in right now is not gonna be where you're gonna be in a year, because you're making big growth, you're making big gains. And so you wanna set up triggers in your environment that remind you constantly. Why it's beautiful is you set it up once. You set up your cell phone background once, and what it does is reminds you every time you look at your phone. How many times are you looking at your phone? Would you like an inspirational message to remind you to play bigger? Something emotional? Has to mean something to you. Don't copy what I have. These are my parents. It means something to me to have them on the wall. My parents on your wall won't mean very much probably, right? It's a little weird. So what are the things? What is your environment? What is your home office? What's in your car? What's in your bedroom? What's on the cell phone and your computer background? What is it? What are the things that when you see it just makes you think, that's right? And it snaps you out of mediocrity. It snaps you out of the way you are, because you want to just stay where you are. Again, it's been perfectly designed to keep you where you are. It's easy to stay where you are. And then bam, something shows up. So you could trick yourself. You can force yourself to play a bigger game if you set up the right play bigger triggers for yourself.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to shift that habit forward. So I've designed a special free program to help you get more self-belief for every day. For 254 days, I will send you an email to an unlisted video that, if you watch it, will shift your confidence forward. The links to join for free are in the description below. You have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to wake up and look forward to the day that is ahead. Dramatically improve the chance of you getting your deal. They'll look over your proposal. They will give you feedback, suggestions, how to tweak your proposal. If you've never done it before, and I'm going through this process right now,
We need to stop using weak language and pay attention to the words that you're speaking to others and to yourself.
Rule number 3, be consistent.
Lack of consistency is one of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs fail. It's one of the biggest reasons. You're a genius, you have great ideas, you want to serve, you know you're capable of more, and you have these moments of inspiration and moments of boldness and moments of massive productivity and focus and clarity, but it's not consistent. And that's why most entrepreneurs will lose. Because you might crush it on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you fall back down. Until the next Saturday when you're up and flying again. It's not enough. It's much more about what you do every day. You are what you consistently do. It's a huge problem for entrepreneurs, so let's fix it. Number one, if you are a part-time entrepreneur, if you work for someone else, you're a part-time entrepreneur, you need to make sure that every single day you're working on your business. Every single day, you have to work on your business, no matter what. Even if it's for 15 minutes at night, every single day, you cannot let momentum die. Even just to show yourself that you can. Even if it's a crazy long day and your boss is yelling at you and you come home and your spouse is angry and your kids are sick, even then, you have to spend 15 minutes on your business, half an hour on your business, every single day. You cannot let the momentum die. Don't disappoint yourself. Number two, if you're already full-time in your business, great. You need to have CEO time every day in your business. CEO time. Time where you spend being the CEO. What does that mean? It's different for different entrepreneurs, but when you're working on the business instead of in it, if you spend all time just working in the business, just putting out fires and never growing, guess what? You're never gonna grow. If you never have CEO time built into your business, you will never be a CEO. And so you need to make sure that every day you have CEO time built into your business. Again, maybe it's only half an hour, but in that half an hour, you're spending time growing your company, you're gonna start seeing results. And my last tip is I want you to start your morning off powerfully. I want you to chart your start. I want you to have a morning routine that inspires you, that makes you feel bold. Most people, what do they do when they wake up? First thing they do is they hit the snooze button. What does that mean? It means last night you set a goal. I'm going to wake up at a certain time, right? I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 7 a.m., 12, noon. I don't care what time you have to wake up. You set a goal, you're going to wake up. And then the very first thing that you do, how you start your day, every day is you say, I am not going to hit my goal today. That's how you start your day. That's how most of America starts their day. They say, I'm not going to hit my goal today. How do you think you're going to go off and have an amazing day and crush it and go hit your crazy big goals and ambitions that you have as an entrepreneur, when you tell yourself and you reinforce it every morning that you are the kind of person who doesn't hit their goals. You got to change that. You got to wake up. Wake up when you say you're going to wake up. Get out of bed when you say you're going to get out of bed. That's step one. Then step two is, what is a morning routine that sets you up for success? Most people wake up like it's an accident. They wake up, you check your phone, you're responding to other people's emergencies and their agenda for your time. That's not how you need to start your day. Successful people, they own their morning. What does your morning look like? And we've all felt inspired and bold at some point. You felt it. You've been bold, you've been inspired at some point in your life. Great. Whatever that thing was that made you feel bold, unstoppable, inspired, put that into your morning routine. Maybe it's watching a video, maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's doing an act of kindness, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's prayer, whatever it is, with intention, because some of you have a morning routine already. I'm talking to you. You have a morning routine already, but you're not crushing it every day. You're not coming out of that morning routine feeling bold, inspired consistently. That's what we're talking about. Consistency here. Sometimes you just go through the motions of your morning routine. Sometimes you just pray, but you're not really connecting. Sometimes you just watch a video, but you're making your breakfast, you're brushing your teeth, and you're not paying attention. With intention, do your morning routine. You must come out of your morning routine every single day feeling bold, unstoppable, and confident. If you did that, if you woke up every day on time like you say you're going to, you're not going to hit the snooze button, you get out of bed, and then you did the thing that made you feel bold, powerful, and unstoppable every single day, holy cow, I guarantee you your life 1 year from today will look dramatically different than where you are right now. Consistency is the game. You are what you consistently do, and I want to see you win.
Rule number 4, don't make your busyness your habit.
Most people are crazy busy but don't get anything done. If you feel like you're crazy busy, like you barely have any enough time for yourself, that you get to the end of the week and you know you've been hauling ass all week long, you've been busting your face in, you've been working and working and working, super busy, but then you look back and you say, what did I actually do this week? If that's you, then this message is for you. You're busy, but you're not focused. And shifting your life begins with shifting your priorities. So I used to pride myself on responding to email ASAP, quickly. Like you send me an email, 30 seconds to 60 seconds later, you would get my response. I prided myself on, like, that's good service. That's what you should do as an entrepreneur, right? Like, people communicating with you, you want to send it back to them quickly. I hated having to wait on people, so I didn't want to be that for others. So I had all my notifications turned on, and as soon as an email came in, ding, came in, boom, response, go. What made it worse was people would then get my response. They tended to be on the computer at the same time, and then they write back right away and say, wow, you're really quick. Like, thank you so much. And that fed the identity, that fed the ego, and I am very fast, exactly, right? There's proof that this thing works. The problem was, I wasn't getting anything important done. I was working on something, and then the notification came in, and I stopped what I was working on to go answer this email, feel great about myself, that little hit, and then come back to my project, like, what was I working on? And it takes time to start getting back into the flow of working on that thing, and then another email comes in. And so I ended up being busy. I was working all day long, right? Like lunch at the desk, breakfast at the desk, dinner at the desk, all day long, right? Washroom, back to the desk. There was no breaks. All day long, straight through. But then I get to the end of the day, end of the week, like, what did I do this week? I don't know. But I answered a lot of emails because I didn't have focus. I didn't have priorities. And when I realized that, after that happened enough times, I realized, wow, I'm never gonna get close to my goals. Like, just doing this, all I'm doing is reacting to other people's goals. When somebody shoots me an email, that's what they want. They're demanding my time. And I'm giving it to them freely because I have no defense around my time, because I have no respect around my time. I'm just letting it bleed out. There's no time for me to work on what I want, and so I'm not gonna make any progress on the things that I want. If you wanna make progress on the things that you want, you have to carve out time for the things that you want. That's how it works. And you gotta put gates and blockades and barriers around it to say, this is my focus time and nobody's allowed in. Now, worst case emergencies, family, awesome, but there aren't that many actual emergencies. You have to be willing to let the small balls drop to go for the big goals in your life. You have to pick. You can't do both really well. You have to pick. What do you want to be great at? Do you want to be great at getting every little small thing done and then never do the big thing? Or do you want to be great at getting the big things done and risk losing some of the small things? Because by chasing down the big things, you're gonna lose some small things. It's just gonna happen. The classic thing for me is media, where reporters would write to me and say, hey Evan, can you respond to this? We need a response by 2 o'clock today, and they'd send it at 11 o'clock in the morning because they're on these tight deadlines. And I would almost always miss those because I'm working on my videos, because I'm working on my book, because I'm working with my team, because I'm doing something. Or if I was always looking at the emails, it means I'm not doing any of these other big things. And what I'm doing when I'm working on my book or working with my team or working on my videos is awesome, is big, right? Is worthwhile, is meaningful. Those are the big goals I'm chasing down. And so you have to be willing to let go of some of the small things. You will not do both perfectly. And most people are okay giving up their big dreams to do these little small wins on a daily basis. That's the problem. That's where most people live. You're okay sacrificing your big dream, your big goal, because it's always there, because it's going to happen one day, someday in the future. You hope it'll happen, but this thing is very real and right in front of you. These little things, these emails have to get back to. It's uncomfortable to disappoint people. It's uncomfortable to let people down. It's uncomfortable to not respond to somebody for X number of times. It's uncomfortable to turn the notifications off and the FOMO, fear of missing out on something that might impact your business. But that's what you have to do in order to build the business that you want to build. If you have not scheduled in time that has a blockade around it, a focused effort, where this is your priority and nothing gets in the way of it, then that goal of yours to build that thing will never happen. It'll be a dream for life. And then you get to the end of your life and realize that you had all this potential, you could have done something, but you were too afraid to actually go and chase it down. So we need to change that. That's not acceptable. The change is right now, right? That's not the life that we want for ourselves. I'm gonna give you a 3-step process. Follow along and let's change your life. Step number 1, decide on your top 3 goals right now. What are your top 3 goals? Most important things to you right now. What are your priorities? The 3 big things that have to happen for you, what are they? Get clear, get specific. If you don't know what they are, that's why you're not chasing anything big down. If you haven't thought about it, then that's the problem. You're stuck in these small projects for life. What are your 3 big goals for your business and your life right now? Step 2 is map your actions to your ambitions. Whatever you say you want to do will not happen unless it's in your calendar. You need to map your actions, what you're doing, to your ambitions, what you say you want. What you're doing has to lead to what you say you want out of life. You can say you want all this stuff, but if you're not doing the work, you're never gonna get there. And most people live there. You say you want this, but you're doing something totally different over here because it's not on your calendar. You haven't prioritized it. So now it's time to pull out your calendar and map your actions to your ambitions. For those 3 goals, you need to put time in your calendar every week to make progress on them. You have to. Your calendar is never gonna miraculously open up. There's only going to be more people who have demands to your time and want you to react to their life, to their emergencies, to their goals, instead of you fulfilling your own. So pull out your calendar and show yourself where in the week you're going to block off the time to map your actions to your ambitions and make time to make those 3 goals of yours happen. So step 3 is block the time and take small losses for big wins. Physically put into your calendar, this block of time on Monday afternoon I'm spending on XYZ, and I am okay with losing some small losses. I will not be reachable. I might lose a deal. There might be some burn down happening that I can't take charge of. I'm gonna disappoint somebody. I'm gonna let somebody down. Not with intentionally, not on purpose, but it's gonna happen. And you're not gonna kick yourself for doing it, because what you're gonna make that time count. Those 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, however long you're spending working on your goals, you're gonna make that time count. You're sacrificing all these small wins that you love going after to make this time count. So use that as pressure, not to feel guilty about yourself for not doing those little small wins and being late and getting back to people, but in saying, I am working on something that's going to change my life. And because of these people who are dependent on me for everything else, and I'm pushing that off, I better make this time count. Use that pressure to drive you forwards instead of backwards.
Rule number 5, the last one before our very special bonus clip, hate mediocrity.
To make a real change, you have to hate your life. Good is the enemy of great. If you're good, you're good. It would be nice to have more, but you're not willing to do the crazy, scary, painful things that require to get great because you're good. You need to realize, if only for a few moments, that you hate your life. You hate it. You're capable of more, way more. This is nowhere near maxing out. This is nowhere near the max of your capabilities. You should hate that. You need to hate that. And then you make a powerful decision to change. So if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within event, the 3.5-day event, his most powerful exercise that he does is his Dickens exercise. And what he has you do is write down your limiting beliefs. He has you write down what are the things that you do that is holding you back, the belief system you have that is holding you back, the things that you know you need to act on that you're not doing. Why is it that you're not doing it, and what is it holding you back from accomplishing? And that's a great thought exercise, but unless it's emotional, you're not going to take action, right? You know fixing that would be nice, it'd be good, it'd be nice, right? Yes, but you still like your life. It's the problem. You don't hate your life. You're not desperate enough to make that happen. You can think, well, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next year. No, you need to hate your life right now, or that thing will never happen. And so what Tony has you do is you take those 3 limiting beliefs, and then you project forward, and it takes you down, I think, 5 years and 10 years and 20 years into the future. So now you imagine your life 5 years into the future. That thing that you're afraid to do, that thing that you have in your head, that limiting belief of yours, you haven't fixed it yet. What's the result? What happens? What do you look like in 5 years that you still haven't done the thing? What happens to you in 5 years? And then in 10 years, and then in 20 years? It takes you deeper into the pain, basically, each time that your life is terrible. Right? You never fix this thing. You never chase that opportunity. You never go after the thing you know you're capable of. And he puts so much pain on you through this exercise. It lasts, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. He puts so much pain on you that then it forces you to want to make the change right now. And then he'll snap you back. The idea isn't let's stay negative forever, right? As entrepreneurs, we don't want to do that. I don't want to be negative forever. It's using negativity and negative forces in a really acute sense, in these little pockets, these little moments, to force you forward, to force you into action. Because when you hate something, you're gonna change it. When you've hated something in your life, it's an immediate change. I need to make that change immediately. But again, when you're good, you're good. You don't do anything about it. And so whatever it is that you want in a life, you have to be desperate to go and chase it down. You have to. And the only way to do that is to hate your current situation. Now, I don't want you waking up every day and saying, I hate my life, I hate my life, I hate my life. That's not healthy. But again, in these moments, in these windows, where you need to make a decision, where you need to be bold, when you need to act, when you need to summon the courage that you have, it has to be important enough to you. And you get that by thinking about all the reasons why your life right now sucks and you need to make a change. Don't get down in this narrow hole that just keeps getting darker and darker and darker. It's like, no, this sucks, and I'm a hero. I'm a badass. I want to max out. I want to go and create that much better life for myself. Rocket fuel. Here we go. So I'm going to give you a 3-step process that you can use to apply this to your business and your life. Step number 1, write down 3 changes that you want in your life. Life and business, 3 changes. What are the 3 things that you want? What are the 3 things that you look at where you are right now and you want to be somewhere else? Things that are just good, that you've been coasting on, that you said you wanted to change for the past 5 years, and you're still here. You're still here. You haven't made progress. You say it's important, but you haven't done anything on it. What are those 3 areas? Write it down. Step number 2, inflict some pain. What do you hate about your life right now in these 3 areas? Get dark, get negative, get painful. Hate. Why do you hate your life in these 3 areas right now because of that thing? The reason why you've let it go for 5 years or however many years in your head, the reason why it's gone this long is because you don't hate your life enough. You like it just enough that you keep doing it. You like it just enough that you haven't made the change. So now, for the next few minutes, inflict some pain. You hate it. You hate that this thing hasn't happened yet. Why? Write it down. Be specific, be clear. And then number 3, what's the plan of massive action to change it? I'm not gonna leave you on a negative. That's not what this is all about. That's not what Believe Nation does. What's your plan? Massive action, this thing you wanna change. You've wanted to change it for a while. You've inflicted tons of pain on yourself to say this has to change. Look at it, I hate my life now because of these 3 things. Awesome. What is your plan for massive action starting right now to make immediate progress and momentum on those 3 things? Write it down.
Every day there's a battle raging inside you. The battle is between the comfort version of yourself and the growth version of yourself. The comfort you wants to be comfortable, doesn't want to push, wants to stay where you are. It's difficult, it's scary out there. Let's stay warm and comfortable. And the growth version of you wants to grow, wants to learn, wants to develop, wants to progress, wants to serve, wants to help. And doing that requires having courage, boldness, and jumping into the unknown. And it's a daily battle. It's a daily battle that never goes away, and you have to choose who consistently is going to win. And those daily battles are not won by doing the big heroic once a year things. It's won by doing the daily things, the daily small things that shift your identity forward to teach yourself that you're the growth kind of person and not the comfort kind of person. The first time I met Brendan Burchard was at his event at growth.com. I was speaking in Phoenix. It was his event. I was one of 2 guest speakers. It was him and his partner speaking, and then me and Eric Thomas. And his business partner invited me to come and speak and flew me down there. And I'd never met Brendan before. I knew of him, obviously, but I never met him face to face. And when I met him, he came backstage. I think it was the day before I was going to go speak, and I met him backstage, and he said, "Hey, I can't wait to see you on stage. I almost never bring on guest speakers who I haven't seen speak before, but you came highly recommended by my business partner, so let's do this. And I'm going to watch your speech and see what you do. I have a TV interview that I'm doing, and I'm going to pause that and make sure I'm done so I can watch your speech." So in my head, there's a lot of stress and pressure. 1, I'd never met Brendan before. 2, there's a couple thousand people out there in the audience. And 3, usually when speakers are on stage, the other speakers aren't super paying attention. You know, they're backstage in their own world doing their own thing, but Brendan was gonna end his interview to make sure that he was gonna watch my speech. And so he's adding all this extra pressure on me. This is the battle of growth versus comfort, of growth Evan versus comfort Evan. My biggest fear is disappointing people. I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want to disappoint the person who paid me to be there. I don't want to disappoint the couple thousand people in the audience. And so we go through these moments where the comfort you takes over. The comfort you wants to play small, wants to quit, wants to back down, wants to find an out, wants to find an excuse for why you can't do something. And the growth you is struggling for control. There's 2 things that I do that help growth Evan come out. And I want you to internalize them, to apply them, to use them, because if you can use these 2 strategies, it can massively shift your identity forward, help you become the growth version of you instead of the comfort version of you, and start giving you the results you want, as well as a more purposeful, happy life of service. 2 things. First one, take on the identity that you do difficult things. You do difficult things. That if something is scary, difficult, or hard, that it's not a good enough reason. That you do scary, you do difficult, you love hard. And so I use those as triggers. And why it's important is you shortcut the thinking pattern. Every time that you say that it's scary, that it's difficult, that it's hard, or whatever words that you use that give yourself a break, that let yourself off the hook, use those as trigger words. That the fact that you said it means you have to do it. The fact that you said it, you thought it, you wrote it, means you have to do it just because. What it does is it shortcuts the excuse, because what normally happens is you say, well, that's too difficult. You've accepted that difficult is a good enough reason for you to play small. You don't go and do the thing. You've accepted then the excuses that come into your head for why you can't do it. And they're not, you don't call them excuses, you call them reasons, right? Logical, valid reasons why you can't do it. I want to shortcut all that. I don't want to even allow you to go there, because I don't allow myself to go there. The fact that I said scary, difficult, hards mean I have to do it. So find your trigger words. You can use mine as a starting point if you want, but find your trigger words, and that becomes your new identity. You want to take on the identity that you do difficult things, that you jump into the unknown, that those are no longer good enough reasons for you. And so I did this when I was backstage, when my heart's beating, I forgot what I was gonna say going on stage. Like in the moments leading up to going on stage, I forgot what I was gonna say. I have no slides either on stage, right? I don't go with a PowerPoint presentation. There's one slide that just has my name and face on it. That's it, no slides. As if I forget what I'm gonna say, I'm kind of screwed. So breathe, Evan Carmichael does difficult things. I do difficult things, right? You remind yourself. But what that does is put you into a more resourceful state to go and actually solve the problem. So that's step one. You do difficult things. And again, it's not just the big hero moments, it's the micro. There's difficult things that have happened already today that you have not done what you need to do. Because it was difficult and you give yourself an out. Go do it. What that does for your self-love, for your self-pride, for your self-respect, for your self-confidence is incredible. And you need to give yourself that gift. I want you to give yourself that gift every day of doing the difficult thing. And for you, something that's difficult may seem trivial or small for somebody else. When I broke my neck and was struggling with a concussion, getting out of bed was difficult. Just getting out of bed and putting my feet on the ground and standing up was incredible pain through my spine. Incredible pain, which is something I take for granted now, but that was difficult. And so when those things happen, you pat yourself on the back. You did it. You did the difficult thing. So that's step number one. You do difficult things. The second mindset shift is leaning into service. It's not even about you. Newsflash, it's not about you. You're here to serve. You're here to help. You're for all the ambitions that you have for yourself, whatever the thing is that you're afraid to do, usually the thing we're afraid to do is in front of somebody else. You're not afraid of failing, you're afraid of failing and who's gonna see you fail. Right? You will sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. Why? People will film videos at their home, but not film it on the street where people can see them because you're afraid of being watched. You're not afraid of failing, you're afraid of failing in front of other people. You need to stop being selfish, get out of your own head, and recognize that you're here to serve. You're here to help. You've got a message, knowledge, information that can help people. And by you playing small, you're doing a disservice to them and to yourself. And so that's the other thing that I'll lean into is, yeah, Evan Carmichael does difficult things, but also I'm here to serve. And so when I'm backstage and I know Brendan's gonna watch me, and I know thousands of people are watching me, and I'm afraid of disappointing everybody, I look out into the audience, and instead of seeing 2,000 people who are here to judge me and I'm gonna disappoint them, I'm here looking at them saying, I have a message that can help them. I'm here to serve them. Because what I'm gonna share, Brendan doesn't know. Eric Thomas doesn't know. The other speakers here, his partners, they don't know. I can share something unique that can help them, and my intention is good. I'm here to help these people, not rip them off, not lead them down a dark path. I'm here to help them. And that, again, shifts how you feel about yourself, to give you the courage, the boldness, the motivation, the power to go and then do the thing that the growth version of you needs. That's how you get out of the comfort zone. That's how you get out of comfort you, scared you, small you, into powerful you, bold you, courageous you, growth you. Number one, you do difficult things. Anytime you find yourself complaining, scary, difficult, hard, negative, you do difficult things. And number two, you're here to serve. You're here to serve, you're here to help, you're trying to do good, and keeping your gifts to yourself is selfish, and you have to share it and get it out there. Those two things on a daily basis, every single day. That's that battle raging inside your head between the growth you and the comfort you. And my ambition, my intention, my goal for you is to have growth you win a little bit more than comfort you. It's not gonna be 100% growth you. There's no way that's gonna happen. Don't make that perfection the bar. It's that every day, growth you wins at least 51% of the battles versus comfort you. You do that, your life will change.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
If you want to develop a powerful mindset, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
How you see your relationships, how you see your business, how do you see the people on your team, And it allows so much more positive energy to flow in the right direction for everybody to accomplish their goals.